I think you can tell a lot about a person, whether they are Team Jeremiah or Team Conrad. There's only one right answer. As someone that just hopped on the Summer I Turned Pretty train this year, leading up to the Season 3 premiere and finale, I wanted to make sure I was caught up on everything before it. I very quickly fell in love with this show. It has become such a phenomenon across my generation and honestly social media in general. This show has made such an imprint on pop culture over the past couple weeks in social media and just in conversations with friends, family, whatever it may be. And it's really just a reminder of the power of TV. I think that this is my favorite season of The Summer I Turned Pretty. It was romantic, obviously, but the length was perfect. There was a lot of great things about it and what makes it my favorite season and the best season in my opinion. Starting off the season with Jeremiah finding out that he cheated, I thought it was great and really just right out of the gate making the intensity at an all-time high, and you feel just like you're right in the crossfire. From the start of it, I was hooked, and I think the only thing that kind of was a bit of a trip up early on in the season was the rushed relationship between Belly and Jeremiah just being completely okay. Belly completely just going back to Jeremiah. He apologized and then everything was okay, and then immediately wanting to get married. I thought that was entirely rushed. Other than that though, I don't have too many complaints with how this season was in terms of its pacing. I think that almost everything from top to bottom had its time to shine and breathe, and that was another reason why I think that this is the best season in terms of its length, really giving moments to get the time they deserve. Building the intensity of Conrad's love with the subtle yearning, sometimes not so subtle, it was truly compelling for me personally. I think that I saw a lot of myself in Conrad. Regardless of whatever team you're on, it's all, of course, subjective. There were times in the beginning where I was Team Jeremiah, but I was very quickly turned away from that, and just probably from I feel like halfway through season 1 on, I was completely connected with Conrad. One of the biggest things that makes this show work is how relatable its romantic themes are, the capturing of young love and falling in love at a young age and that growing throughout, young adulthood. I think the journey that you see throughout, and especially for someone like me who binged it and went from season 1 to season 3 very quickly. I know not everyone had that journey. Looking at it at a grand scope and looking at it its entirety, I feel like a very emotional journey going through it all and seeing these characters grow. While the show can be extremely sappy and melodramatic, I mean, the peach sequence, that's probably the highlight in terms of the melodrama there. It's stripped right out of a trashy romance novel, but you can't help but just eat it up at the same time. Like, this is a show that knows what it is and excels in being exactly what you want. And being exactly what you want, that being just, a story about young love. I'm sure you very quickly realize whether the show is going to work for you or not, and luckily this show never forgets what it is. One of the other particular highlights was actually the Steven and Taylor relationship. The will they, won't they there. At first I was like, I'm kind of just more focused on the love triangle at the center, but they really got me invested in Steven and Taylor and seeing if they were going to end up together, and I wanted them to be happy. It was another compelling layer to the show. I wasn't a fan of the subplot with Taylor's mom. She was more annoying than anything else, and she just acts like a child, and I wasn't a fan of how much time they devoted to that, but luckily it wasn't too much time. Something else that does get dropped, what happened to Laurel's ex, the other writer? They just dropped that, and it didn't really go anywhere, and that kind of bugged me a little bit. But I liked how they brought Laurel closer together with John Conklin. It kind of gets left with a question mark as to what their future has in store for them and what's going on there, but I'm sure that they'll probably explore it in the movie. And another quick thing that bugged me, the child acting. That can be really rough. Again, those sequences are very quick and they don't have too many of them. Minor complaint as they have barely any time on the show, but it was glaringly bad at times. If I had to pick a favorite scene of this season in its entirety, it is without a doubt Belly on the beach. When Belly just had a rough night and Conrad just found out that his brother cheated on Belly. That scene of him confessing his love, it really hit deep and it struck an emotional chord with, I know, me and so many of us other fans of the show. Again, you could nitpick it for being dramatic and so sappy, but for the romantics, it really did work and was compelling. A lot of us potentially saw glimpses of ourselves and our experiences in that moment. I guess there's potentially an argument to be made here, but this season has the best soundtrack of the entire show. I think that it was just banger after banger. I loved every song choice in the finale. Out of the Woods, Scott Street, I was like, this is perfect. And another nice highlight in the finale, which I was a big fan of. I liked how it wrapped up nicely, although I'm happy that we're getting a movie. Tie up a couple loose threads here and there, like the parents' relationship, like how does he feel about Belly and Conrad finally coming together? We'll see. But the Jer and Denise connection that was kind of there towards the latter half of the show, and then when they finally went for it, I was like, that was really nice. I really liked that. Maybe it's just me, but I wanted to see Jeremiah happy without Belly. And really, a highlight is the season length. I thought that giving time to breathe in, whether that be the character arcs or the smaller, intimate moments with every character pretty much got their time to shine. Some having multiple moments time to shine. Some having multiple moments that really stood out. Damn near perfect length, and how they released the episodes, keeping the conversation going. Weekly releases are the perfect way to go. You can't tell me otherwise. Sure, some shows, I understand they, I guess, can be better viewed in a bingeable format, but not this show, and not a lot of other shows, I would say. But regardless, I thought it was the perfect ending for the romance. Obviously, I was very happy and was just filled with, it felt like a warm hug. This is a relatable and romantic and emotional drama romance show that has taken over so much of my mental space over the past however many weeks. It's a show that knows what it is, and it delivers on the goods for a romantic, or even someone that convinces themselves that they're not a romantic and then they fall in love with the show. The soundtrack was the best it's ever been. The writing, while not perfect, still it was the best it's ever been. The character moments, the emotions, really, I was very impressed. Honestly, with this could have just been like trashy romance stuff, and it's not. Like, it genuinely, you feel like there's a genuine passion behind this show, and that's why I think it just works so well. I'm gonna give The Summer I Turned Pretty season 3 a B+, and this is a must watch, of course, for fans of the show. Be sure to let me know your thoughts on the finale, the season as a whole, whatever it is, down below in the comments. I want to thank you so much for watching this review. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And as always, look forward to more content coming soon. My name is Ben, people call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.